Sometime last year, we hosted Dr. Wamalwa. Dr. Dennis Wamalwa is a commissioner with the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. And when he joined the Commission on Human Rights, he became the first person in the world to become a state officer, and that person being intersex. He made history. He's been trailblazing. He's even developed a bill to appreciate and acknowledge intersex and to deal with intersex affairs. Now, we are also now moving, and he told us there are many people who are in this country are intersex. In fact, the census of 2019 recognized intersex as one and said, so you shall say you're either male, you're female, you're intersex. And they gave us a population of the intersex in the country. Still did not capture all of them. There are many, many. Our next guest is Monicah Mercy. Monicah is a student at Machakos University, and she's an aspiring candidate for the SAMU election. SAMU is Student Association of Machakos University.
Yeah.
And you're going for Special Programs Secretary.
Yes.
And should you win this, you will make history again in all of university elections in the world as the first intersex person to vie and win an election leadership role.
Yeah.
Well, it's a big thing. Monicah,
Yes.
Good morning. Welcome to the Situation Room. We call that the hot seat of the Situation Room. How does it feel? Warm enough?
Yeah.
Comfortable?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's nice.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Now, listen to this gentleman. His name is C.T. Muga. He will give you a proverb. Every week, C.T. goes to one African country.
Okay.
And then he researches proverbs from that country. He gives us a proverb a day. The job of the guest who sits on the seat that you're seated on is to listen to the proverb and give us your own interpretation. There's no right or wrong answer.
Okay.
What does the proverb say to you? This week, you've been in which country, City?
Benin.
Benin.
It's
You
in
know where
West
Benin
Africa.
is, Monica?
West Africa.
Okay.
It's next to a country called Togo. It's also next to a country called Nigeria. Oh, yes. Sliver of a country. So like somebody carved it out so that it goes right into the sea. And then Togo the same. Yes.
That's so beautiful.
It's very beautiful. And then it's also next to Burkina Faso. Interesting place, this one. Death is certain. Does not mean... No, let me repeat. This one I'm adding my own things. Death is certain. Does not make one sleep in the grave.
Death is certain.
It's definitely certain.
Does not make one sleep in the grave.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for the proverb. On my own thinking, when it says that death is certain, it means, actually, according to my way of thinking, it means that death, it will deprive that person from doing their own responsibility, achieving their goals, doing whatever they wanted to do for so many years. But because they are not living again, they cannot achieve those goals. Yeah, thank you.
So this is the beauty of interpretation. You get to hear something you could never, ever have thought of. But you're right. It puts a halt to the very many things that you actually prepared and you thought you would do. That death certainly does.
It does that.
It does.
Monica, you're a student at the Machakos University.
Yes.
What are you studying, and how many years have you been in the Machakos University?
I'm taking geography and Kiswahili special needs. Special needs categorically on Kenya Sign Language. I'm in my third year, 3.2 student.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and now you're vying for student leadership.
Actually, we finished the elections last week.
Right.
I won with 13 votes. 13 votes. Then my competitor number 2 had 4 votes. And the others continue.
Hey.
So you've made history.
You've already made history.
Yeah.
And here we're talking about the future, yet the future is with us.
Here.
Yeah, the future is
it's
already
already
with us here.
Very, very good. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Now, when we hosted the Commissioner, Dr. Wamalwa, here, a couple of things that, we asked him. First of all, we wanted to understand what is intersex. When we say intersex, what does it mean? There are many people who did not hear that conversation that day, or there are many who heard, but still...
We're not sure they heard.
They didn't get it.
Okay.
What is intersex?
Intersex, I've tried to simplify the English many times because I want to go... Everybody get the meaning. Intersex is a child who is born with mixed sexual characteristics. With the binary, categorically you cannot specify whether it's a boy or is a girl at birth. The child can grow with that condition, but the fact that you cannot come up with clear distinction that the child is either a boy or a girl, then the child becomes an intersex until further approval that the child has grown up enough to know their characteristics when they grow up. Yeah, so to make it more simpler, I normally tell people it's mixed sexual characteristics.
What are those when a baby is born, how can you tell the sexual characteristics of this baby? You look at the sexual reproductive organs, right?
Yeah, you
look at this is a boy, this is a girl. When a baby is born and you cannot determine, what does that mean? So what are you seeing?
Let me give my example.
Yes.
When I was born, at first the doctor could not tell my mom whether I was a boy or I was a girl because I had a large clitoris. Then the vaginal opening was closed. So with those two situations at hand, the doctor could not define whether I was a girl or I was a boy.
So the vaginal opening is closed.
Yeah.
You don't have a scrotum.
No.
You have an enlarged clitoris.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the question is, did you have a penis?
No, it's not a penis.
You see?
Okay. So what did the doctor do then? Or tell your mom?
Now, when the doctor didn't have the answer for the mother, my mom had to give me a name. She gave me Mercy Mutheu. Yeah. She assumed that her child is a girl, and she gave me the name, and now she had to go back home. Yeah.
Okay. So what happened later that would now say there could be some kind of confusion as to whether Mercy is, because you talked about characteristics, that later then, once an individual has grown older, then they can now, according to what they see or other, situations rather, factors, let's use factors as that word, would then make you determine whether you're a boy or a girl. Did anything change as you grew older?
For me, I didn't change anything, including my name, the way I lived and the way I was brought up. One thing I had to do is accept that I am the way I am, and I have to live, and I have to go to school, and I have to do my chores, and I have to do everything that I'm supposed to do. So I did not go further to change my name, my details, say the academic-wise, but I had gone a series of things in the hospital. For the last 12 years, from 9 years to 12 years, I had a series of going to hospital.
For operations?
To do what?
We tried an operation, but it bounced 3 times.
What were you trying to do?
They wanted to correct me. They wanted to open the vagina and see whether they can cut the clitoris because they were assuming that it is a mini penis.
And when you say it bounced, that did not work. What does that mean?
It didn't work because every time we could go to the hospital, either the doctor is not in, either there is another patient, or there is something just came up from the morning and nobody can explain.
So you just never ended up on the operating table?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to go back into this. Little girl has gone home with a mom. Okay? The mom has decided, I have a girl. But in truth, the mom is also maybe confused because the doctor has created that confusion. The mom is seeing this girl does not look like a girl fully because she does not have the vaginal opening.
Yeah.
But then your bodily functions, what was happening? How were you passing urine? You don't have a vaginal opening, you have an enlarged clitoris, you don't have a penis. So what are all these things that are happening? And how was the mom handling?
And how were you handling it?
At times it becomes so confusing to understand the situation yourself. My mom didn't know that my vagina was closed. I told her at my 21.
Oh, all along she thought it's open?
Yes. She didn't know anything because she did not have any access to any other information about intersex or having another person around the community having such a child. So she was feeling like she's the only one having such a child. So one thing, she was so lovely. She was there for me. She was raising me up like a child. She was not biased. She didn't care whether I was a boy or I was a girl. She took me to school, and actually every day she used to encourage me, go to school, read, and give it your best. Number 2, on how to survive on my part. When I realized that I was different from other children as we were playing back then, I had now to come up with my own strategy. Because 1, I don't know of any person who looks like me. Number 2, it is not acceptable in the community to talk about it. So you have to keep it to yourself. It is your private life. And out of this private life, I went far in studies so that I may try to make a difference of myself. Because I didn't want to go back to the community, stay there without a way. Because there was a notion in the community that intersex, you cannot get married. Because, we assume that for a girl, if you fail to perform well in academics, then you will get married.
Yes.
But I'm an intersex. How am I now going to get married? Myself, I've not been experiencing menses. So that means probably I'm infertile. Because I'm Turner's syndrome positive. Now, the option of marriage, I was sure could not work for me. Because I'm not a girl, I'm not a boy. So I cannot marry. 1, because I'm not a boy. I don't have any male organs. Number 2, I'm a female. But my own body anatomy does not represent the female. So I have now to go to studies, read, and live my life.
And perform.
Period.
Okay. I want to go back a little bit because, this is important because, you're of this age now where obviously, so number 1, it's clear that you've done exactly what you've said. Excel in school. And that was clear. That was your mindset. I must. But there are many who struggle with this notion. So I want to go back a little bit. And you talk about your mother not knowing anything about this until you were 21. But when you were younger, surely she must have changed your diaper. She must have had a conversation with you at some point. Did nothing of this ever come up that you and her discussed when you were a little bit older?
Oh, thank you for that. But this was one discussion that I hated. So much. So anytime we could talk talk about my situation with mom, I could just start crying, and she was like, just leave it. Just leave it.
So you are avoiding it yourself?
I've been avoiding it for so long, until 19.
But then you also told us at some point when you were young, you realized that you're different from the other girls. What was it that you realized to be different?
Wow, nice. Now, when you go to pee, now the children will look at you and they will tell you, like, you have something that resembles the boy. And I will go tell mom, Fulani said that I have something that resembles the boys. But I'm a girl, I'm passing urine like a girl. So how comes that, mom, that today they are saying that I look like a boy? Yeah. I'm passing urine like a boy. But now mom was like, just leave them alone. You are good the way you are. And you're my daughter. Actually, I was the favorite of my mom. So she was trying to bring me so close to protect me, to ensure that I'm covered, and so that I may feel secure. Because if the community can surely be that harsh to you, then where can you go? The last option is your mother. Yeah.
So did you ever talk back to the girls and the other children and tell them, no, my mother told me I'm a girl?
No.
How are you handling it? I mean, I'm just imagining you're a young girl and the other girls are telling you, where you look like a boy.
At times, I avoided playing a lot. Actually, currently now I realize myself, I normally play a lot.
This is the time.
This is the time that I play to revenge very well. So anytime we could have such a discussion with the children, me, I could just run home. I don't want to hear anything about that. Because I realized that I was growing. Even I realized that the female the female structure of a lady, there is a clitoris. I also assumed that it is a penis. Yeah.
You thought even girls have...
No. I didn't know that ladies do have a clitoris.
Oh, I see.
Because anything to do with the sexual anatomy, I was just out of it. I don't want to discuss about it. Yeah. This one helped me to get rid of the stress of what people will look. They will be looking down upon me the way I'm different from them. So anything that will touch sex anywhere, my physical appearance, I'm just done with it.
You get to puberty, and the other girls now are starting to experience their period. Did your mother ever talk to you about period?
She used to question me about the periods at 12. And I was like, Mom, I didn't see anything. Months and months passed. My sister also asked about it, and I was like, there is nothing that is coming out. So instead of keeping asking me, just let me live. You know? Let me live.
Wachaneni na mimi.
Wachaneni na mimi. Ikikuja nitawaambia. Kama haikuji, leave me alone. Yeah. So I was just so defensive to myself. If it's not there, kindly, let's just leave it. Because you will start asking me, why? So how am I supposed to answer that question? Why now? How will I start explaining that the periods did not come? How will I now?
And you are 15.
And I'm 15. Surely, how will I now start explaining that I even tried, by the way, using the sanitary towels once. I stole one from my sister, and I worked the whole day, and nothing happened. I threw it away and moved on. Because surely it's seriously irritating me. Why should I keep wearing it? And I'm sure that nothing is going to happen. In case I see anything on my panties, then I will have it. But up to now, I've never seen anything. So I still live.
But you're also like trying to defend. You're fighting off something. It was concerning you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you're wondering, okay, so why? Why is it not happening? Maybe it's true. I mean, my mom is asking, my sister is asking me. I can see all the other girls talking about their period maybe, or experiencing their period. I'm not. So what would you tell yourself?
Now, one, I want to thank education. I took biology in Form 4, all my high school life. So in Form 4, we were talking about genetics. We were talking about disorders of chromosomes and the genetic disorders. And I realized that I had some characteristics that were in the book. That is Turner's syndrome positive. 1, they don't have breasts. 2, they are infertile. Their ovaries, they don't grow up to maturation. So I related this information with the results that I had received from the hospital. That they had said that my ovaries are present, all the internal organs are female, but the ovaries are not mature enough. Due to the condition that I was having, the Turner syndrome, I could not receive my menses because the ovaries could not go to ovulation, could not mature enough. So now I was like, now I have a reason now to go and tell them now. Yeah.
As per why this didn't happen.
Yeah.
When did you establish for yourself as Mercy? Forget about these outside voices, all the things that you had heard, all the things that you had seen, all the things that you had or had not experienced. When did you now establish for yourself that, number one, I am different and this is where we are, this is how we are moving forward?
Oh, thank you. Now, from the experience that I had a lot of problems with the doctors. When it comes to games, it is a problem. When it comes to school, it is also a problem. When it comes matters relationships. So let me give example of sports. There was a time I went for games, and to mention this, Daktari also said it the other time. I was that Mercy, by the way. I was that Mercy who I had now to leave games and go home because now they want to strip me naked. They want to take me to the toilet to see whether I'm a girl or I'm a boy. Right. I went to go home. And I left the games and I went home. And now I had now to come up with a way. There was one thing that I've been always avoiding. Negative mindset. The fact that I could harm myself, I did not allow to develop in my mind. I always, every morning I could tell myself, you can do it. You are breathing, you're not at ICU. You can make it. You can walk to school. You can read those books and understand. Why don't you use that opportunity to make a difference? Why don't you use those books to ensure you achieve that life that you wanted? When I realized that I am that different, now I had to come up with my own strategy. When I was in high school and when it comes to changing my clothes, switch off to games very fast, I had my own strategy to change, because I don't know of any intersex somewhere to come and help me, to come to tell me this is normal. Let's live with it. I had to create my own conducive environment. Come up with a strategy, change your clothes very fast, go to the games, do things the way you're supposed to do them. The other thing was leadership. Leadership was one thing that helped me so much. The fact that you're a leader, at times people will make jokes, but they won't offend you. So the leadership also gave me an assurance. It was like a protective gear.
Right.
That nobody is now going to harm you now because you're a prefect.
Yeah.
I've been a leader since class 3. So I transited from class 3, high school, I was a leader. So the leadership gave me an opportunity to come out. When I speak of myself, I get courageous. When I speak of myself, at the back of my mind, I will not have to question myself of what will think of me. Because I have explained myself, I have talked about myself, and the interpretation that comes to you, it's okay. Because I didn't want any person to come back and start asking, you said you're intersex. There is this weird question that always comes.
Right.
And it's so boring, but at times we have to answer it. Somebody will come and ask you, do you normally have intimacy? Then I'm like, what kind of question is this? Then I will tell them, because the next question will be, do you have sex with female or with male? I find it so irritating, by the way.
You'll tell us why. Our guest this morning is Mercy Monicah Mudeo. Or you dropped the M.
No.
It's still there. Right? She is the Special Program Secretary for the Students Association of Machakos University. She's a student at Machakos University, and she's here to tell us why she has chosen to go for this particular slot, and also to celebrate her because she is the first in the world intersex student to take student leadership in any university in the world. That's a big thing. Also educating all of us about intersex. All of us need to understand a lot more of it. We had a conversation last year with Dr. Dennis Omalwa. He's a commissioner with the Kenya National Commission of Human Rights. He was the first intersex person to be appointed into a state office in the world. Now we have Monicah M. Mercy. She is the Special Program Secretary at the Student Association of Machakos University. She is the first intersex person to occupy a leadership position in any university in the world. And you're telling us now your journey through intersex and understanding and creating awareness among others. Very many people don't understand. I mean, there's a lot of ignorance. And yes, when you talk about intersex and gender, you think gender sexuality is the sexual activity. And that's the one annoying question that you say, you hate it because just somebody trying to understand, okay, so do you have sex with men? Do you have sex with women? Do you have, and you get so pissed off being asked that question.
Yeah.
But how do you respond?
Now, one thing when I'm talking to people, I have to analyze who is my audience, what am I telling them, and where and when. So when such a question comes, I'll tell them, actually when it comes to matters intimacy, it is something so sacred. So I try to keep it private. So I'll tell them because simply I'm a female, definitely. The obvious is
so you
the
just
answer.
let them, take it back.
I will just have to expose them to critical thinking. I won't tell them everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because actually this is my private life. How do you want me to tell you everything? Then what will now remain private of me? Yes.
It's a good one.
True. Do you think that it would have been different? And of course, every time we have conversations of this nature, the point is to then normalize the conversation, because number one, too many people with awesome potential have been kept under wraps. Too many people have not shared their opinion. Too many people have not had the world experience their gifts and talents, because we've kept them away from society, because whoever we is, does not understand. And because they are not exposed, then we keep them away. Would it have been different if you didn't have the position that you do today? If you didn't make the decisions that you did to come out, what do you think would have been different about you in 2024?
Okay, thank you. What could have been of me if I didn't get the position is, one, I had made a decision in my heart. Whether I get the position or fail to get the position, I will create awareness, even if it calls for me to stand alone. I was ready for anything that would come my way, so that I may help the intersex people and the people who are feeling that they are left out back in the community, that they may come out. I always recall the many years that I cried, questioning myself, who am I, what am I, and how will I end at the end of the day? But with this position, it is an opportunity for everyone who hears my story, that they may come out. They may understand themselves. The first thing is accepting themselves. Accept the way you are and come out the way you are. Yes. Thank you.
When did you encounter somebody else who's intersex? When did you first come across another intersex person?
That was back 2021. That person was Commissioner Dr. Dennis Wamalwa. He was the first person that I encountered as an intersex, and I was seriously relieved.
How old were you then in 2021?
I was 19.
And this is the first time you're coming across another intersex person.
Yeah.
How did you get to meet?
At first, in the process of looking for school fees, I was introduced to one of the waziris at Wote. That was Bob Kisula, Waziri Bob Kisula. Then after that, after we left his office, just 2 weeks after that, Commissioner Dr. Dennis went to Wote to create awareness about intersex. That's where now he received my contact from the Waziri, and that's now how we started talking. From there, it has been a series of wonderful deeds, meeting intersex day in, day out. Yes.
You know, I'm thinking of just how very lonely all those years must have been for you, and how torturous it was, because you are the odd person and there was no one like you. The God you believe in is a real God, because how does one stay sane with something that no one around you can explain to you adequately, or no one even seems to understand? But here we are now. Now let me ask the question.
Yeah.
When you were campaigning as a young lady, or were you campaigning as an intersex citizen of Kenya?
Okay, thank you. When I was campaigning, I used Mercy Muthe Monicah, intersex person. And I used to tell them, this is the only intersex person in Machakos, and I am proud. Yes. Because I don't have anything now to fear.
Right.
I have already told them all my private life. My private life is, I am intersex. Is there anything other question you have? If you have, bring it on board. I will answer you.
Okay.
That simple.
When you were doing your KCPE, your gender was listed as female.
Yes.
When you're doing your KCSE, what is your gender listed as?
Still female.
when you enrolled at Machakos University, what was your gender?
Female.
At what point did you have a conversation with the administration at Machakos University to tell them, actually, intersex?
Now, thank you. But when we come to administration and when it comes to almost every public administration, many a times they don't include the intersex. While I was campaigning, while I was applying for the position at first, I had to use my pen and write there intersex because I can't tick female and male at the same time. So I left both of them blank and I went ahead and wrote intersex because I don't know, the society doesn't feel that these people are there, but I think it is very important that they just have this space for intersex. So the university didn't give me an opportunity to suggest whether I was an intersex or not. When I was enrolled at first, I enrolled as female, Mercy Mutheu Monicah. Then while I was 1.2 in the same year, I realized that I was intersex, but I could not change anything. So I had first to live with that until the end, continue with studies and start now to learn to accept myself in a better way instead of defending myself. Yes.
All the time. So let's look at these letters, LGBTQI. I is usually for intersex. There's been arguments that why do you put intersex here and it should not be? What do you feel about that? Because it's a mainstream conversation today, and it is very clear here for very many that it actually is a physiological manifestation of how you are born.
Yes.
Right? How do you feel about that? Sometimes it's not put there, a lot of times it is. What do you feel about that?
Thank you so much. I feel that the LGBTQ, it's a sexual orientation that one has a choice. I feel that these are individuals who are born male, these are individuals who are born female. And they agreed to change their sexual orientation to something else. Intersex, you don't have an opportunity to change anything. You cannot change your sexual orientation. You remain to be intersex. It is true that intersex go through the corrective surgeries, but even if you go through them, you still remain to be an intersex because there is so many anatomy of the body that cannot be changed. Like now, let me use the word breast. Even if I go for the surgery that was supposed to be done then, does it mean now I'm going now to have the breast? The answer is no. I remain to have my anatomy the way I am. I will remain to be just the way I am. So on that part of LGBTQ, I just feel the I should be out because it is something that you don't have a decision over it. It is natural. You cannot change anything. It's the same way of telling somebody who doesn't have an arm to go and purchase one. Where are you going to get one from? It is something which is natural. You're going to live with it. You're going to stay with it and die with it. Yeah, so I just feel that the I should be out from the LGBTQ. That's
many things in government. In fact, cases have gone to court and courts have said, look, you have, as government, have got to start recognizing intersex as intersex, starting from the very beginning. I think a judgment by Justice Lenaola a couple of years ago saying the system should now go back and start recognizing you as intersex from your birth certificate to all your academic papers, to your ID, to your passport going forward. Has that happened?
So far, I can say yes. Because a number of my friends who are intersex, they have started the journey of changing the names, the ID, and the birth certificate. So I can say yes.
So the people, now you go to apply the register of births and you say, let's amend my birth certificate and give me a new one that says intersex, right?
Yes.
And there are those who have successfully done that.
Yeah.
Is it an arduous task for them from what they tell you? Do they have an easy conversation? Do they just walk in across the counter? I want to change this.
No, it is not an easy task. Because before you change the registration, before you come up with the changing of names, there needs to be an approval. There needs to be an approval from the medics that they have satisfied you that you're intersex, that you can be approved for changing of the birth certificate and other document. But once they change your birth certificate, which is, it's a bit hectic, but when they are able to change it from there, it becomes easy. But it is seriously takes a lot of time.
Do you think there's something that should be done to coordinate all this? I mean, you don't have to be sent back to Register of Persons. Then you go to the Kenya National Examinations Council. Please change my result slip, my education certificates, all the way to the university. Please change these. Then to the immigration, change my passport, change my ID. All this they should open an office for the intersex people who have been denied their right all these years. And the law has found that they have been denied their right to actually have this fast-tracked and corrected.
Okay, thank you. What I feel first needs to be done is the awareness. Because if I come to tell you that today I'm not a Mercy, I'm going to be Alex, the question will be how, why, what are the reasons? So when we start it from the background, and that's why we are trained to start it from the medics. When that child is born, then you cannot specify the binary for the sex of the child. Kindly just let it be intersex, because you cannot have a lesbian. You cannot have the, what do I call it?
You cannot say this child is a lesbian or that this child is a homosexual.
True.
If you do not know what you're saying, essentially, sorry, if I'm putting the words in your mouth, just clarify.
Yeah.
If a medical practitioner at the time of birth of this child has seen the characteristics that qualify this child to be intersex, they should just call it that from the very beginning.
Yes.
Is that what we're saying?
Yes, that is what I'm saying. So that it may become an easy journey for the intersex people to apply for the papers, to apply for the registration and the demonstration everywhere. That's my suggestion.
Do you have a grouping of intersex persons who have come together, maybe formed an association or something?
Yes, we do have.
What's it called?
IPIC.
Okay.
And IPSK.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you use this for advocacy, right? And also for awareness creation. Yeah. Have you, as any of these two associations, engaged with the medical professionals in a formal organized forum where maybe you're even starting to deal with OBGYNs who will be at that point of birth to start sensitizing them on this?
Yeah, thank you. The organization have been doing that. To add on that, even just the coming week, we'll be having a sensitization program at Wote, Level 5 Hospital. We'll be talking to the medics. We'll be telling them what is intersex. How does it look at birth? How can you know that this child is intersex? What criteria will you use? So that you may also ensure that you don't harass that person, either physically, because at one point I was harassed and I felt so bad at the hospital. So we are trying to sensitize them from the groups, from the social media, from all the groups that we are having. We are trying to create awareness. We are sensitizing the community. We are telling them what they will expect, because intersex is going to be there even after us. It is going to be there because it's something that is natural. Yes.
Okay.
Someone is asking, what's your pronoun?
She.
So you go with she, her.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
If we went now into full formal, it's already happening, in full formal recognition of intersex. So there's male, female, intersex. So what would be the pronouns for intersex? Is it that you choose you're the one who allocates your pronoun? for yourself?
From just our basic English,
Right.
we normally give pronouns according to your name and how you want to orient yourself when it comes to matters your body.
Yeah.
So hata mimi naweza sema pale kuna utata when it comes to pronouns. I've tried to see what can we do about these pronouns so that we don't use he, she, they, them. You understand, such pronouns. But I think according to me now, we can use the pronouns according to your name. Yeah, if it's Monicah, let it be she,
Right.
unless you want it otherwise. Yeah.
Do you think there is enough recognition across board beyond what intersex folks are doing, beyond the awareness that's being raised for folks who are at a policy level? Because now we are talking about at ministry level, where policies are being, put together for certain recognitions, and then because of that, for certain rights to be upheld. Do you think there's enough being done at that level? Do you think yes, we do have someone in that level, at that level, who is policy, who happens to be intersex. But is there more that could be done? And if so, from your point of view, what is that?
From my point of view, actually, when we compare the numbers of intersex persons across the country, from the previous census, we are around 47 million. Then from the same previous census, the intersex were 1524. And among those 1524, I'm very sure that so many of them, they have not come out to speak of their life as intersex. So the main bit that I can advocate for is first, because we are living with humans. We are living with the males and the females all together. I just want us to create that awareness. Let's understand that it is there, because we are not having sufficient numbers of intersex to be present at every office. It may not be possible. But anytime the administration of a particular organization, they meet an intersex person who is applying for any opportunity in the organization, according to me, I think it is very good if that intersex person qualifies for such a job to be given.
We do have an understanding in this country, in our laws, where jobs, businesses, a certain portion are set aside for people living with disabilities or people with disabilities. Now, some call it preferential treatment, some call it affirmative action. So then, are we saying that for people who are intersex, the same rule that applies to affirmative action should be applied to them?
According to my suggestion, it's yes. Because what we are trying to do is to look for inequality and equality, whereby everybody can be absorbed in any position. Everybody can be served with the current government we are having. Everybody can work in wherever they are, whatever environment they have. Is it conducive enough for them to work? If it is students, is it conducive enough for them to learn? If it's people doing business, because we have intersex people doing business, is the environment conducive? Do they have the equal opportunities so that we may live equally? What I want to put across is that we don't want we intersex to live like we are in a quarantine. We want to be living like the way you people live. We want to be social the way you are. We need to, if it's taking part in games, athletics, we want to live the normal life. Actually, we just need to live the normal life. Yeah.
And just acknowledging that for a long time, intersex have been marginalized. And in order for us to address that marginalization, we have to have affirmative action. That's the whole point of affirmative action, is to make sure that those that have previously been marginalized are then brought into the mainstream as quickly as possible. And we support that. So basically just saying, in fact, if you are in this particular category, you stand a higher chance of getting a job opportunity, should you meet all the other criteria. I support that 100%. As a student leader, as special program secretary at the Machakos University, what is his job? What are you supposed to do?
Wow, nice, thank you. My work one is to run the programs which are special. When it comes to people with disability, I'm the one to cater for them. I'm the one to know about their numbers. In case the institution admits a student who is living with disability, it's my responsibility to keep into records, to help them understand, to maneuver through the school as well. Also, it's my responsibility also to allocate funds from them, from the administration. It's my work for me to understand that wherever they're living, that is outside school, are they safe wherever they are? Can they access just the normal things they need to do? Can they access them with a lot of ease? So it's my responsibility to take care of their wellness. Yes.
You're studying special needs.
Yes.
What would you like to do after college?
After college? Or
When you graduate,
after university,
which you will.
once you graduate, what's your plan?
Wow.
Have you thought about it?
Yes.
And well, then tell us what you thought about.
One, I don't want to put it so personal. One, because I want to have a job.
Okay.
Actually, we read so that after school,
Yep.
we get a job.
Yep.
So after the job, my mission of creating awareness doesn't end in the university. Whatever thing I can do after academics, I will. I also want to further my studies. I want to become a prof. Yes, a prof in academics. And because I realized that I am so glued to people who live in disability. That's why I went for Kenya Sign Language. I wanted to know, how do they speak? How do they run their daily chores? Because you can imagine that person is using the same road that we are using and cannot hear a hooting vehicle from back.
Yeah.
So how does that one happen? So I was just so curious and I got into academics. Yeah, so after school, I just want to get a job, help the people living with disability, as well as help my family. Intersex and my mom's family. They are so prior to me. Yes.
You know, the fact that you were elected speaks very loudly about the community you come from. They're a very accommodating community. And they looked at you for who you actually are and said, this is the person we want to lead us.
True.
Yeah, so let me just say, you have a wonderful mother, but you also come from a very wonderful community.
Very good. Monicah M. Mercy, Special Program Secretary at Machakos University. As a student leader, thank you very much for joining us, and congratulations once again on all this what you've gone through, and now saying, I want to create awareness. I want people to understand me and those like me who are intersex and what we go through. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And thank you for tuning in to Kenya's biggest conversation through the month of February. And now that we're into the month of March, we hope to see you on Monday. Have a lovely weekend.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.